There are moments in life when everything feels uncertain. The job is falling apart, the family is drifting, the prayers seem unanswered, and the heart feels worn and heavy. But even in that silence, in that confusion, there is a powerful truth we must hold on to. God is working behind the scenes. He has not forgotten you. He has not abandoned his promise. His hand is still on your life. Just because you can't see the pieces moving doesn't mean the puzzle isn't coming together. Faith isn't about walking only when the path is clear. It's about trusting when the clouds cover the road. In John 5:17, Jesus declared, "My Father is always at his work to this very day, and I too am working." This isn't past tense, it's present tense. It means asterisk right now asterisk, God is fixing it. You see, we often look for signs. We want immediate evidence, physical proof that change is happening. But God is not bound by what we see. He works in the unseen. In the background of your battles, he is shaping your breakthrough. In the silence of your nights, he is speaking to storms you didn't even know were coming. God is not on pause. His plan is unfolding even when it feels like everything has stopped. That doctor's report didn't surprise him. That heartbreak didn't catch him off guard. He saw it before it happened and had already written redemption into your story. This is where trust becomes real. It's easy to trust when the answers come quickly, but the deepest trust is born in the delay. When Abraham was told he'd be the father of many nations, he had to wait decades. When Joseph dreamed of greatness, he had to be betrayed, enslaved, and imprisoned first. But none of those delays were dead ends. They were preparation. They were chapters in a story that God was writing for his glory. And your story is no different. That waiting season is not wasted. That prayer that hasn't been answered yet is not ignored. Every moment you spend in trust is a seed planted in God's field, and in his time you will see a harvest. But don't confuse God's silence with absence. The enemy would love for you to believe that nothing is happening, that God has moved on, that your situation is too far gone. But God never stops working. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't slumber. Psalm 121 tells us, "He who watches over you will not slumber." While you lie awake in worry, he is moving in wisdom. While you cry in your closet, he is commanding angels on your behalf. While you question everything, he is orchestrating the answer. The miracle is not just coming, it's already in motion. There's a reason you're still standing after all you've been through. There's a reason your heart keeps beating despite the heartbreak. God is not done. He is the author and the finisher. If he started a good work in you, he will complete it. No pain is wasted. No detour is without purpose. Even your mistakes, yes, even the ones you regret, can be used by God as part of his divine blueprint. So hold on, trust him, lean not on your own understanding. Let go of the need to control everything. Let your soul rest in the truth that the God who hung the stars also holds your life. You don't have to fix everything. You just have to trust the one who can. He is working all things together for your good. Not some things, not just the easy things. All things, even now, especially now. God is fixing it right now. Trust him. When we find ourselves in a season of delay, the heart is tempted to question God's presence. The enemy whispers, if he really loved you, why hasn't he answered yet? But what the enemy wants you to forget is this: delay does not mean denial. God's timing is perfect, it's not random, and it's never late. He is not ignoring your prayers, he is refining you through the process. In Isaiah 40:31, we are reminded, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength." Waiting on God is not wasted time, it is strengthening time. It is where trust is tested, character is formed, and faith becomes unshakable. You may not like the waiting, but one day you will thank God for it, because what he was doing in you during the delay is far more valuable than what you thought you needed immediately. When a seed is planted, it doesn't grow overnight. First, it must be buried, hidden in the darkness. But beneath the soil, transformation is taking place. Roots grow deep before the stem breaks through the surface. And so it is with your life. You may feel buried, forgotten, overlooked, but you are not buried to be broken. You are planted to grow. God is working underground beneath the surface in places you cannot see. He is rooting you, strengthening your foundation so when your blessing blooms, it won't be shaken. It takes faith to trust in what is not visible, but that is exactly what God asks of us. Not to understand the plan, but to trust the planner. Sometimes the delay is not about the blessing. It's about preparing you for the blessing. God won't give you what you're praying for if it would destroy you in your current state. He loves you too much to let you arrive unprepared. He is not just fixing your situation. He is fixing you in the process. He is stretching your patience, softening your pride, building your resilience. Every delay has a divine design. And when you finally receive what you were waiting for, it will be better than you ever imagined. Not just because of what you receive, but because of who you've become in the waiting. But here's the hardest truth. Trusting God doesn't always mean understanding Him. Proverbs 3:5-6 tells us clearly, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." That means there will be moments when nothing makes sense, when the people you loved walk away, when the opportunities dry up, when the healing doesn't come right away. In those moments, the natural response is confusion, even bitterness. But trust says, "I don't get it, God, but I still trust you." Trust says, "I'm hurting, but I still believe you're good." Trust is not pretending to be okay. It's choosing to believe even when you're not. There is a refining fire in trials. God doesn't waste pain. He uses it to sharpen your perspective, to teach you dependence, to anchor your soul not in circumstances, but in Christ. Some of the deepest lessons are learned in the deepest valleys. And if you're in a valley right now, know this: you are not alone. The shepherd walks with you. He leads you beside still waters. He restores your soul. And though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you will fear no evil, for He is with you. The storm you're facing is not a sign of God's absence. It's proof that your faith is being built. Trust Him in the silence. Trust Him in the stillness. Trust Him even when your heart wants to run, because God is not just fixing the situation. He's fixing you to be ready for the answer, and when He moves, it will all make sense. Every tear, every delay, every silent night, it will all become a testimony. You'll see that He was fixing it all along, and He still is right now. Faith is not built in the mountaintops. It's built in the valley, where things don't make sense and hope feels far away. This is where trust becomes more than a word. It becomes a lifestyle. In the darkest seasons, when it seems like God is silent and the prayers bounce back off the ceiling, we are faced with a choice. Will we walk by faith or sight? Walking by faith means holding on to the promises even when the evidence seems to contradict them. It means declaring God is still good, even when the report is bad. It means believing He's working, even when you feel forgotten. Real faith is forged in fire. It's in those long, painful seasons that God builds something in you that no easy season ever could. You're not just surviving this trial, you're being transformed in it. And transformation is the very tool God uses to prepare you for what's next. God never wastes a battle. He never allows a storm without a purpose. The rain that falls today is often the very thing that nourishes the ground for tomorrow's harvest. You might not like the process, but the process is preparing you for the promise. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, falsely accused, thrown into a dungeon. Every chapter looked like a tragedy, but God was writing a story of triumph. Genesis 50:20 declares, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done." That's the kind of God we serve, a God who turns betrayal into blessing, sorrow into strength, and prison into purpose. The same God who delivered Joseph is the same God working on your behalf right now. You don't need to see it all to believe it. You just need to know who holds it all. We often ask, Why isn't God doing something? But the truth is, he already is. He's doing more in the waiting than we could ever imagine. The delay may feel cruel, but it is often the kindest thing God can do, because what he is doing in you is just as important as what you're asking him to do for you. He is shaping your heart, refining your mind, and deepening your roots. It's not just about the blessing. It's about becoming the kind of person who can carry the blessing without it crushing you. Many people want the crown but forget that there's always a cross before the crown. Before glory, there's always a Gethsemane. That's why Jesus prayed, "Not my will, but yours be done." It's in surrender that strength is born, and in that surrender you begin to trust, not just in what God will do, but in who God is. This kind of trust can't be faked. It's not surface level. It comes from pressing into God when everything in you wants to pull away. It's when you choose worship over worry, prayer over panic, praise over pity. And that choice made in the middle of the mess is what moves heaven. It doesn't mean you won't cry or feel afraid or have moments of doubt. But it does mean you refuse to let go of God's hand even when the path is dark. It means you've decided that your hope is not based on circumstances, but on the unchanging character of your Creator. And when you cling to him like that, you'll find something powerful, peace, not because everything is fixed, but because you're trusting the one who can fix everything. God is not in a hurry, but he is always on time. He knows the way. He knows what you need when you need it and how much you can carry. And if it hasn't happened yet, it's not because he's forgotten. It's because he's perfecting it. His timing is precise. His hand is steady. His love for you is unwavering. Don't rush what God is preparing. Don't settle for what's quick and miss what's best. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Because even when you can't trace his hand, you can trust his heart. And right now, even in the silence, even in the wait, God is fixing it. There are moments when life brings us to our knees, not because we're worshiping, but because we're worn out. The storm is long, the night is dark, and the answers haven't come. But even in those moments, God is near. He's not a distant spectator. He's a loving father who walks through the fire with his children. He hasn't stepped away from your life. He's right in the middle of it, holding things together when everything feels like it's falling apart. Romans 8:28 reminds us that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. It doesn't say all things are good. It says all things work together for good. That means even your broken pieces, your disappointments, your delays, they're all being used by God to build something beautiful. What feels like the end to you is often the beginning of something divine. God's work is not always visible, but it is always intentional. Sometimes the most powerful miracles are the ones happening quietly, behind the scenes, in ways we may not recognize until much later. Just because God isn't answering in the way you expect doesn't mean he isn't answering at all. He sees things you don't. He hears prayers you never even spoke out loud. He's weaving a tapestry from the threads of your pain, your faith, and your perseverance. And though the picture may not make sense now, one day it will. One day you'll look back and thank God that he didn't give you what you wanted when you wanted it, because what he had in store was far greater. In those difficult seasons, the temptation is to take matters into our own hands, to force solutions, to rush ahead of God, to try and make things happen ourselves. But trust requires patience. It demands surrender. The hardest part of walking with God is walking at his pace. But we must remember, he's not just preparing the blessing for us. He's preparing us for the blessing. If you move too soon, you may step outside of his perfect plan. But if you wait even when it hurts, even when you don't understand, you'll walk right into the fullness of what he's promised. Lamentations 3:25 says, The Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the soul who seeks him. Waiting doesn't mean inactivity. It means expectation. It means holding on even when everything in you wants to let go. There will be people who walk away. There will be doors that close. There will be seasons of silence. But those are not signs that God has left you. They are signs that he is doing something deeper. Sometimes God removes people from your life because they can't go where he's taking you. Sometimes he closes a door because he has one that leads to something better. Sometimes he allows silence because he wants to speak to your heart, not just your ears. Don't resent the seasons that force you to rely on him. They are the ones that grow your roots deeper, make your worship more genuine, and your trust more real. Your story is not over. Your situation is not too far gone. God specializes in comebacks, in restoration, in doing the impossible. So lift your head, dry your tears, remind your soul that God has never failed you, and he's not about to start now. What he spoke over your life, he will bring to pass. Not one word from his mouth returns void. The same God who calmed the sea, who raised the dead, who multiplied the loaves, he is working in your life this very moment. You may not see the break through today, but don't stop expecting it. You may not feel his hand, but don't stop trusting his heart. Because even when everything around you is shaking, God remains unshaken. He is still in control, and yes, he is fixing it, right now, in ways you can't imagine. Keep believing, keep praying, keep trusting. He's not done. When it feels like everything is crumbling, when prayers go unanswered and time feels like your enemy, it's easy to wonder if God is really paying attention. The silence can feel suffocating, the delay can feel like rejection, but God does not abandon his people. He does not turn his back on those he loves. Even in your weakest hour, he is present. Even when he's quiet, he's working. When Jesus was asleep in the boat during the storm, the disciples panicked, thinking he didn't care. But Jesus wasn't unaware. He was unshaken, and that's the God we serve. A God who is never panicked by our storms, who speaks peace when we expect chaos, who holds the outcome when all we can see is the obstacle. Your storm hasn't surprised him. Your fear hasn't driven him away. He is there, fixing it, even if you can't feel it yet. We live in a culture that loves speed, fast answers, instant gratification, immediate results, but God's way is not rushed. His timing is not based on our clocks, but on his purpose. There is divine strategy in his delays. We see only the moment. We see the pain and the pressure. But God sees the process. He sees what you're becoming through the trial. That waiting period you hate so much may be the most productive season of your life. God is not wasting time. He's using it to mature your faith, to deepen your dependence, to purify your motives. You may want deliverance, but God wants transformation. And often, transformation takes time. The roots must grow deep before the tree can bear fruit. So while you think God is being slow, he's actually being intentional. He's preparing something that will last, not just something that will feel good for a moment. God's plan doesn't always look like ours, and that's why trust is so critical. When things don't happen the way you envisioned, it's tempting to assume something is wrong. But faith means believing that God is in control even when your plans fall apart. It means trusting that if he allows something to break, it's because he has a better way to build. He sees the beginning and the end, while we see only the now. And sometimes in his mercy, God will close a door we begged him to open, because he knows what's behind it. He sees what we don't. He hears conversations we can't. He reads hearts we never could. And when he says no or not yet, it's not because he's punishing you. It's because he's protecting you. That job you lost, that relationship that ended, that opportunity that vanished. God can use it all. He wastes nothing. He's not just fixing what's broken. He's building what's better. There will be moments when you're tempted to give up, to stop praying, to stop hoping. But don't hold on, because God honors persistence. In Luke 18, Jesus told a parable of a persistent widow who kept going to the judge until she received justice, and he used that story to show us the power of not giving up in prayer. There is power in endurance. There is strength in staying the course. The enemy wants you to quit because he knows what's coming if you don't. Your breakthrough might be one prayer away, one more step, one more act of faith. Don't let the darkness make you forget the promise. Don't let the pain blind you to his purpose. You are closer than you think, and when God moves, it will happen suddenly, and you'll realize it was worth the wait. Every tear, every prayer, every moment of faith, it all mattered. What you're going through right now is not random. It's not pointless. It's a setup for something greater. And when you look back, you'll see how God was orchestrating every detail, how the delays were divine, how the heartbreak made room for healing, and how what felt like the end was actually the beginning. God is a master restorer. He doesn't just patch things up, he makes them new. He doesn't just fix circumstances, he restores hearts. So take courage, lift your head, remind yourself of his promises, because God is fixing it right now. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. In ways you can't see, in places you can't reach, in situations you thought were over. Trust him. He's not done with your story.